90, but 90 something humidity. Just terrible.
Yeah, that dew point, I know the dew point around here was like 70, 71, and then the heat index was pushing 100. I just can't stand the heat and the humidity and the dew point.
90, but 90 something humidity. I grew up down in Kentucky, and the weather we've had here the last 2 or 3 days, that's what June, July, and August are like for 3 solid months.
Yeah, my cousin lives in Nashville, and I was down there right before the pandemic in 19, and I was in there for August, and just miserable.
Yeah, a little different.
Okay, Jane, you can, I guess, start. I'll keep letting people as they show up come in.
Okay.
We're live on YouTube, so.
Well, hi guys.
Hello.
Thank you for a good year. I think that this worked out pretty well. Zooming, people sharing. Certainly a lot of work from Jeff Klug, who keeps us connected and works on all these meetings and gets us recording. But everybody, Ellen, you did a huge, wonderful job on the newsletter with all the links and, you know, everybody who shared, and, you know, so I think it's been a good year. As I said in the newsletter, there are some things I really liked. You know, when we had the presentations, it was right here for me to see. I could follow the mouse better than when I'm way in back of the room, and my attention stayed focused. So I think that's a good thing. Of course, I missed actually being in person, but you know, it was still very good. And I appreciate everybody's hard work to make this happen. Kept us going. So for news, Birds of Prey is coming up for Wacko. Ken or Jeff, do you want to say something on that?
It's September 11th at
September 1st, isn't it?
what's that, Joe?
What's the date again?
September 11th,
11. Okay.
9 a.m. Slits Audubon. The registration is at this time only open to WACO members. Starting August, and the fee for the program is $75. Starting August 1st, the program opens up to anybody, WACO or outside, and the fee will increase to $100. So if you're thinking of going to the Birds of Prey, you're best to sign up in July. It's hard to explain. Well, we usually have 3 stations set up for photographing the birds. We try to make, sometimes they're on stands, but we try to make it so that there's a little distance between the bird and the background so that the background kind of blurs out a little bit. Some of them are on the grounds or on the rock. But it's a great way to get close-up shots of birds, of raptors, and we're close enough that it's fairly easy to get a lot of good feather detail in your photos. So it's always been a good program for us, and we're looking forward to doing that again this September.
How many people can be accommodated?
At least 50 and I think we've opened it up to 60, but you know, I'm not sure what we'll actually get.
Okay. And our zoo trip, we had the zoo trip earlier here in June. Ken, do you want to say a few things about the zoo trip?
It was a very hot day. And I think because of that, attendance was down. I think there was five of us that went to the zoo. The, the animals, it turned out well. I mean, and I'm just, I think, I know I left a little bit early, which I was, with the heat, I was kind of glad to get out of the heat. In fact, I'm thinking maybe next year we look at the zoo for a little bit earlier in the year when it's not quite possibly as warm as what it could be in June.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting a lot of heat streaks in June already. So I'll just go through tonight's lineup before we actually really get started. We're going to have elections for next year. We're going to have show and tell. And we're going to have the Around the Neighborhood slideshow. And we're going to do a poll for what we want to do next year. So, Jeff, when do you think's best to do the poll in this meeting?
We'll do it near the end, I think,
Okay.
or after we get through everything else and
Yeah.
we just do some discussion on what we want to do for next year.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, it is our last meeting of this year. There'll be no August meeting for the club, although some of us will get together to do the planning for next year. So we can do our officers election. So we already have a president. That's Joe. You want to raise your hand, Joe?
I'm the one.
And then we have to vote for our new vice president. And we have had a volunteer. Roger Krill has volunteered. There's Roger. Do we have any floor volunteers? Anybody else who would care to volunteer? Oh, silence.
Jane, we should also vote for newsletter and
Oh,
treasurer and secretary. So just everybody else was going to keep doing it. So.
well, let's vote for our vice president, Roger Grill.
All in favor.
Just raise your hands.
And let's vote for our newsletter, Ellen Hanrahan. And let's vote for our treasurer, Pat Lynch. Got
Hey,
that
Pat.
right? Now,
Yep.
who's secretary?
That's me.
Oh, let's vote for Jeff.
Unanimous.
All right. Very good. So Patty and Chris have volunteered for show and tell. Are either one of you ready to share?
I'm ready.
Okay, go for it. I've lost Patty Grimley.
She's here.
Oh, there she is.
I was on mute. I was trying to find the button there. Takes me a minute. Yeah, I'm ready too. So
Okay,
whoever.
Hmm.
we've got your screen, Chris, but You could probably, yeah, there you go.
Okay, you should hear me now.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, I figured it out, so I shall start. These
All
are
right.
just some pictures I took, mostly around the house, but in other places as well. One of the things I like to do in my pictures is try to get two birds at one time and try to even get them both in focus. And that's one of my mother's cats that was wandering around the backyard. I also like to take pictures of birds in trees on a stick. And of course, every once in a while you get a nice decent insect, a dragonfly as the case may be. This is at Horicon Marsh in the early spring when it just started to get green. This is also Horicon Marsh. The bird there is something I stuck in there to make it look nice. It wasn't really there.
Oh, it's a nice photo though. You did a good job.
Okay, another insect sitting around the backyard. These were some of the flowers at that nursery we went to a couple of months ago. This is a picture of a bird right outside its nest in my backyard, just about ready to feed somebody. Again, this was at the nursery. This is along Highway Y near my home, a red-winged blackbird that I managed to get in flight and mostly in focus. Again, robins in trees are kind of nice to get. This is a picture of the only sunrise I ever went to some years ago off the coast of New Hampshire. I got up at like 2 in the morning and drove 4 hours to get to the sunrise. Back to Horicon Marsh. These are teals, I believe. And this is just a studio picture of a flower that showed up in my mother's garden this spring. One of my favorite places to go chase herons is Greenfield Park, and I was there last week, Thursday. And when this guy happened to just show up as soon as I got there, and I got about 30 pictures of him eating this fish. It's kind of neat. I've never had one before eating a goldfish. It's kind of a nice juxtaposition of color. And he finally started to get it down and seemed to enjoy himself. And that is the entire series of pictures I have for you.
Now, do you think that's really a goldfish that was?
Well, it's gold. I mean, I don't think it's a
Sure
gold.
is gold.
I mean, I've been to that pond in Greenfield Park before, and I've seen other birds. A seagull a couple of years ago ate a fish just like that. So I don't think it's a goldfish in the sense that somebody dropped their goldfish in there. I think probably the city of West Allis, is it, probably throws some fish in there, and they seem to be gold, so I called it a goldfish.
Oh,
But I'm not a fish expert, so I couldn't tell you what species it really is.
Yeah,
I've
pretty
seen-
much
I've seen a
looked
lot
like a
of
pet
photos like that.
goldfish.
Well, it was a pretty good sized fish, you got to admit, though.
Maybe it's a carp,
It's a carp.
maybe.
Goldfish are carp.
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not I try to take pictures, but I'm not a naturalist.
And goldfish grow to the point where they can handle their surroundings. Like goldfish in a home fish tank, they don't get very big. But you put them in a pond, they'll grow bigger. Put them in a big pond, they'll grow even bigger. And they are a carp.
Okay, so I shall stop sharing this and go back to the rest of you. And glad you enjoyed the pictures. And let's see what else we got.
Okay,
All
Let
right,
me-
Patty.
let me find the right buttons to push here. Oh, there we go. What the heck is that? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we're seeing your web browser, Patty.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea what that is. Okay,
Just minimize it, Patty. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, we got a little message here from Sally. She said koi, and that could be. They might put some koi in there.
Okay, so I decided at the last minute to do something different. I spent the Sunday at the Cedarburg 4th of July parade. And I decided I was going to focus on the people more. You know, I typically do like a documentarian thing and just take pictures of, you know, each thing that's presented in front of me. And this time I tried to make a conscious effort, you know, capturing the people. So I've got a bunch. I'll go through them fast. It won't take long. If I can get them up here. So while I was trying to get my settings right, this was a kid that's just sitting there waiting for the thing to start. And hang on a second, because now it's covering my arrow to, oh, I'll use the button. There we go. Then this is the honor guard. And I really like taking the pictures of the veterans every year. It's, you know, it's always the same ones. And it's always nice when they, you know, when you see them still there every year. You know, I was kind of worried after COVID and things like that. So good to see all these guys show up, and they really appreciated the applause from the people watching the parade. This guy just stopped dead in his tracks right out in the middle of everything and just soaked it all in. It was kind of emotional. And then they had these guys that were from the Royal, they were from Laos apparently. So I found that interesting. And this guy's carrying like a big gun with a scope, and he was smiling. And she was just cute as a bug. And I'll just kind of keep going here. So these guys I see every year. And they had the Cedarburg Civic Band. Yeah, I thought these two little girls were just adorable. The one in front is not in focus, and I know that's a faux pas, but I don't care. I like the picture anyway. And this guy had a great expression to go with the axe. Firefighter, young firefighter. They had a boatload of golden retrievers and golden horses. And kids in fire trucks. Thought she was cute. And this one I like the other window. There's a hand sticking up waving. I just thought that made an interesting photo. And the guy on the Segway every year. And Boy Scouts. Lions. And Harleys. Move my thingy there. And we got buzzed by an airplane. And this kid throwing candy. You can see the candy up in front of his arm there. It's slightly out of focus. Dinosaurs. Cute little kid. Another cute kid. More golden retrievers. This is probably my favorite one because I got some leading lines. I thought it was better than my average photos. Baseball, horses. Horse cleanup crew. And for all you people that like cars, I took lots of car pictures. And the dance team, Oh to Be Young Again. trucks, cars, things, Jeeps. Studebaker. And the guy from Wayne's, he always puts on a show. The fairest of the fair. And this lady, the first photo I got of her, she had no smile at all. Then she started to crack a smile. And finally, I got her to smile. And that's it.
Oh, they're good, Patty.
Oh, thank you.
Lots of great color. It looks like you had a good spot.
I did. They let you come down and put your chairs out ahead of time. So I went down and scoped up some prime territory and got a decent spot. I went farther north. I'm usually at the far end where everybody's already tired and wilted by the time they get down there. So I tried to get farther north on the parade route this time so that people had a little more energy.
That's a great parade.
It is. I thought it was scaled back a little bit this year. We didn't have any Ronald McDonald, which didn't hurt my feelings because I'm not a fan. But yeah, the last time we did Ronald McDonald, he jumped out of the car and grabbed a bunch of people so I could take their photograph together. And I've got a long lens and they're right in front of me and I'm trying to back up in the crowd so I could focus. And, then he's trying to run and catch the car again to jump back in and keep going down the parade. So it was just kind of like, it was crazy. And, like I said, I don't like clowns. So
It was a nice turnout of people.
yeah, I think everybody's ready to be out and, enjoy being out with people and, all the things that we took for granted that we don't take for granted anymore.
Well, it was good. It was good. It was pretty warm too, wasn't it?
It
already?
was toasty.
Yeah. Okay, I can try sharing the slideshow if everybody's ready. Do you see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, we do.
All right. Okay,
Very nice.
thank you guys for participating, sending all those photos. It was very nice. I
And
enjoyed
thank
it.
you for putting it together.
Yep, we'll have to work on what our theme is for next year. So I guess now we're on to doing our poll questions and talking about next year.
The future.
Real quick, Jane,
Yes,
can I bring up something real quick?
sure.
The Urban Ecology Center Photo Club is doing a field trip to Christopher Gardens up in Sheboygan. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it or been there. It's a 50 acres. Here, hold on. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Sure. So yeah, it's a 50-acre garden, private garden, and you could do like private viewings, private trips. I can provide this information I'll probably send it to you, Jeff, and then we can just pass
Sure.
out to everybody. But anyways, we're doing a field trip August 28th. And we figured we would also reach out and see if anybody from this club was interested in going to it. The main key is Phyllis, who is the president of the Urban Ecology Center, needs to know how many people are planning on going. So again, I'll send more information, but I figured I'd bring it up on the meeting itself to see, let people know. Here's a map of it. There are all these different gardens. I've never been there myself, but it sounds pretty interesting. Some amazing gardens that they supposedly have up there. So I'll send both this document that talks about Christopher Gardens as well as the map and information as far as if you're interested, letting Phyllis know. But yeah, sounds like it'll be kind of an all-day thing, August 28th.
So do you know if there's a fee for it?
They ask, I think, for a $2 donation.
$2?
Yes. Is their like recommended donation.
Okay.
So it's cheap to go. It's a little bit of a drive. I'm actually going up and doing that Saturday, and then I'm driving all the way down to Illinois that night to do the Out of Chicago Botanic Garden conference for 5 days after that. So it's going to be quite a 6 days of flower photography for me.
I think it's near that Kohler Golf Course, isn't it?
Couldn't tell you. I haven't looked that far. I just know it's up in Sheboygan.
Well, that's good information. And the
Yeah.
Renaissance Fair has started too. Is that this coming weekend that it starts, Jeff?
Yeah, it starts, this Saturday and goes through, what is that, Labor Day? In September?
Is
I'm
that
trying
only
to
on the
get there,
week?
but I don't know if I'll be able to get there or not.
Is that only on the weekends?
Yeah, it's Saturday and Sundays only.
Okay.
It's through September 6th. There's only two special groups this time. One is July 17th and 18th. Jeff, you recall what that one was?
That was steampunk.
Steampunks, and then Pirates is August 7th and 8th. And then just normal fairs during the rest of the time. So it's every Saturday and Sunday from now through September 6th.
Yeah, if I end up going, I'll let everybody else know, but I won't know very far in advance, unfortunately.
Steampunk is usually an interesting.
But it's a fun place, and the steampunk is sort of fun. Get a lot more very strange costumes.
And people.
Oh, do
Sorry, I was muted.
yeah.
I meant to mention, I wanted to show real quick. I meant to show the
Sure.
website. So this is christophergardens.org. So it kind of gives you an idea of what the property looks like. So again, I'll include that in there. This is where they talk about the donation, $2 donation, and more about the place itself. So
Wow.
yeah, sounds pretty neat.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Jane, you want me to start
Yes, please.
this? I got an email from Jason at the rec department, and it looks like by September, there won't be any social distancing. At least he doesn't think so. So we would be back to normal room group size if we wanted to do that. Food is still prohibited there. That may open up later. And that's about all the rules that he shared with me so far. Everything's still in flux over there. So we won't know for sure until we get even closer, and I'll check with him again before our August planning meeting. Couple of things. I won't be able to make the in-person meetings. So we are now looking for somebody that has a projector, screen, computer to take my place if we go in person. So that's one thing that we need to consider. And I guess that's about it. I have a poll that asks the question, 4 questions, just to give us an idea what the board should try to do next month. So I will launch that, and hopefully everybody will be able to vote on it.
Yeah.
So
The
do you
first question is, would you like to meet in person or virtually? Yes, no.
Or both?
Or both.
Right.
Yeah.
What's yes? In person or
okay.
virtually?
Yeah. All right. In person.
Okay.
See, I sent this to the group and to the board, and they didn't even catch it for me. So
How we missed
You asked
that
us to
one.
respond yes or no.
I think you sent us the questions. I don't think
I
we had
sent you the questions and said the answers were yes or no, and I wanted to know if we needed to add any more questions. So
I thought you meant yes or no to the questions.
oh no.
Duh.
So if you just click it, how do you know that you voted?
There's a submit button at the
Is
bottom.
it submit
there
at
should
the
be a
very
submit button.
bottom? A couple of thoughts that I've had since I put this together was we do have a number of people that are way out of town. And I have thought that maybe we could do a
Road trip?
yeah, road trip. Do our normal Tuesday night meeting for the people that can make it in person, to do it in person, and then pick another night of the month to do a virtual one. And that way the people, the group that can do virtual could do virtual. People that want to meet in person can meet in person. And we just break the group up into two. And of course, anybody that's meeting in person could certainly join the virtual group as well. So it would actually give us 2 meetings a month.
I lost
So
the
Joe.
voting
Yeah, it
thing.
disappeared.
Yeah,
Oh, I haven't even touched it.
Just,
Everybody
good.
maybe voted?
no,
No,
I never.
No,
No.
only 17. I'll relaunch it.
maybe I wasn't fast enough.
There it is.
Well, I can vote again.
Except now it reset everything back to 0. That's
So-
not great.
Revote
You know,
again. Yeah.
I think that if you made me a co-host here, I think I can't vote.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably true.
And then I did end polling, so it was me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what happened.
So everybody needs to revote, right?
Yeah, it looks like it. And I'm just trying to figure out how to make Jane not a co-host.
That's okay. Now I'm getting good at it.
Well,
I
why
don't think
can't I
my-
stop?
My answers
Mm.
changed too much from the last time.
I didn't hit submit, I don't think. God. Can you tell who voted or didn't?
No, it's anonymous, so
Okay, well, I never hit the submit button, but it went away again on me,
all
so.
right. So then, yeah, you probably, I think if you answered everything, it generally,
Oh, I did, okay. Or I'll re-vote at the meeting in August.
yeah. And this is just to give us an idea.
Yeah.
um,
The big question is how many people feel safe and comfortable going to the meetings too.
Yeah, that's true. People that haven't been vaccinated will have to wear a mask. That was one rule. So I guess we would have to figure out a way to tell that. But otherwise, and that's also hoping that nothing big happens, major outbreak happens again.
Yeah, with the new Delta. So
They just announced like an hour ago that it's now the main strain in the US, the
Yeah,
Delta.
And then Epsilon shows up in another month or so, right?
could be. It's supposed to, some of that stuff's gonna hit in fall, they say.
Yeah, which does open up in my mind the possibility of, being virtual in November, December, and January, when, of course, we would all really like to be out, but where we're going to be at the greatest risk of perhaps having a virus more prevalent, and we're all closed in and holidays. Or December, January, February, something like that, where we meet in person early in fall and again in spring.
Yeah, maybe winter would be a good time just to do virtual to,
winter
I
break.
mean, you get all the bad weather and everything that people have to
Negotiate.
go through. And
Flu
I mean,
season anyway.
it's sort of interesting that most of the people have 6 to 20 miles to travel, and 32% have 21 miles or more to travel.
Wow.
People that are 0 to 5 miles away, there's only 3 of you. So,
I actually don't know how far it is. I was probably in that last group. It probably is. How far do you think we are, Joe? And
it's right around 20.
is it? Yeah.
so
Well, I think that's pretty
Yeah.
nice that a lot of people do come
Mhm.
far away.
yeah. All right, I'm going to end it just because we got 22 out of 25, and I know Ken and I can't vote. So,
The Jeff,
yep.
the Optimist Club
of Menomonee Falls meets weekly in the large conference room. There's about 30 to 40 people that show up for those meetings. And most, not too many people wear masks. Some of the guest speakers or kids from the high school that come in and do a presentation will have masks because that's what they're used to in school. So
Yeah.
just want you to get that.
Yeah, no, it's, being that the rec department is part of the school, we may have some other things. That was just one of the things that he mentioned. We'll have to make sure that everybody that comes to an in-person meeting, that we have their phone number and address. Because that still has to be done. But yeah, it sounds like we don't have to social distance anymore. So,
Jeff, would you be doing the virtual meetings yet, or
yeah, I would be happy to do the virtual meetings.
it's just the in
I just
person?
I can't leave it. For me, it's 5 hours of being gone.
Yeah,
By the time I pack up the gear, get it there, set up, have the meeting, tear it down and bring it back home, that's 5 hours. And I can't get a caretaker for that long on a Tuesday night. At least I haven't so far.
okay.
And it's actually sort of expensive when I do get one. So.
No
Ken,
matter what plans we have to be able to fall back on Zoom.
Yeah. I won't be getting rid of my Zoom license anytime soon. So that will always be an option for us. The big problem's going to be a screen and a projector. I think there's enough people in the group that have a laptop that they can bring. And of course, there won't be any sound system like I was using unless whoever volunteers to do it has something like that. But I really don't want to have somebody coming and picking up my gear, using it, and then bringing it back again. So the club
Well,
maybe could go out and buy a screen.
Let's talk about the results.
Well, I've got a couple of comments. I looked at our programs in the past. We always had a pizza social in December. We had ice cream social in July. We had tabletop, which we planned in January. And then, at least during one of the meetings, we had the print circuit judging. So in my mind, I'm looking at those would be 4 possible meetings that we could have. And actually, for in person, so that would give us at least 4 times to meet. We can schedule the tabletop. I mean, we can schedule those things anytime we want. So that would give us 4 out of the 11 for potential in person. And then we could possibly do the other 7 through Zoom. So that was just one of the things I noticed when I was looking at all our past meetings and what we've done.
This is Chris. I actually do have an extra screen and an extra projector that I can do a long-term loan to the group. I wouldn't be the one who would be using it, but Jesse lives 2 blocks away from me. But easily I could let it out to the group, and I'm not using it right now, so why not put it to good use? And it's a professional style projector. It's a heavy duty, good model, and the screen is portable, folds up and everything.
Okay, well, that's nice that you'd be able to do that.
Thank you.
I think the response to question number 4 is interesting. That's one thing that everybody agreed on 100%. That's kind of in line with what Ken was talking about.
Well, I think that's going to be the wave of the future until this thing is totally blown over, and it's just the way it's probably going to have to be. And, you know, if I'm looking at the screen here, there's probably 8 or 9 people that have not been able to attend these virtual meetings. Are they just going to drop off and be gone forever? I know some of them are, you know, probably a little bit older or whatever, but you know, they've not shown up for any of these meetings that I'm aware of.
Yeah, we have about probably 6 or 8 people
Yeah,
that aren't coming to these meetings because they either
They're
one,
virtual.
don't believe in virtual meetings, or 2, they don't feel they're tech savvy enough to do the virtual meeting.
right.
So yeah, we are missing a group of them,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure how in the world, you know, we handle that. That's why I thought of splitting the group, but you hate to do that too.
Yeah, I think splitting the group is, you know, it's an extra burden. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, we
Well,
do it
and I
one
was
way or
going to
the
say
other.
the virtual part, Joe, I wouldn't expect like you to be attending both meetings.
Yeah,
I would probably, since I'm hosting the Zoom, I could certainly host the whole meeting for that virtual part, you know, if we did break the group up into 2.
yeah.
The other thing is that with the virtual meetings, all the things that we do on screen, whether it's whether you're demonstrating something or whether we're doing post-production with various members, or whether even we're doing some of the photo reviews where you can retouch, are really much clearer to me virtually, because the screen is right there, and I can see it easier, and I can see some of the details easier than sitting in the room. So maybe we can plan more of some of those things that we share screens with virtually, and then meet a couple times in person for the sort of the camaraderie aspect of it. But that's just I mean, I literally like the virtual. I miss getting together with the people, but as far as information goes, I think there's more of a clarity with the virtual.
Oh,
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Yeah, the more technical on Zoom is pretty good, really great.
I agree too, and I think we've done pretty well and been pretty successful this way. And also, we've been able to get some outside speakers in this
that too, yeah.
in this format too, where you can't do that in person. I think this has worked out pretty well, all in all. It's nice to have everybody get together, but I think this has worked out very nicely.
Jeff, do you think, you know, a couple of years we've had the speakers at the Country Inn or whatever it was out in Waukesha. Is that sponsored through our club, or is that a WACO thing? I've forgotten.
That's all WACO.
Okay.
That's yeah, a lot of money that changes hands.
But that's you know, that's a good opportunity for all of us that wanted to get together and at least have face-to-face. We'd be able to see other people as well.
Well, that maybe not. We're actually looking at WACO staying virtual.
Oh, okay.
Because it's less expensive to bring a speaker in, and everybody gets a better view. We're working on making it more of a production, and I'm trying to make it something different. So I brought it up at the digital forum, and I'm going to bring it up at WACO, where we'll try some different things that might be a different way of learning that I've been trying to learn from a different group that does this stuff professionally. And so WACO, I think we may stay with virtual seminars. They may go back to in-person, but the cost of bringing a person in has gotten so expensive. And to do it virtually is a lot less expensive for everybody, and you get to see everything clear.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah.
You have access to more speakers too.
Yeah.
Also, as a result of COVID too, sort of relating to this, you're seeing most companies are not bringing their people back to work either. They're working remotely too, and they're finding how successful this has been in business too. And,
Yep.
it's worked out very well. And I think maybe this has worked out well too. And the social aspect is great. And maybe we could meet a couple of times a year so that we could incorporate that. But I think there are many benefits to doing it by Zoom too.
Yep, and you're going to see a lot of seminars stay virtual. Photoshop World that I used to go to every year is now going strictly virtual in the future, because they found it was less expensive for them to put it together, and yet they've got 3 solid days of seminars. Well, and you look at out of Chicago, they're doing a lot of virtual yet.
Yep. They just had one in the spring,
Yeah.
their second one.
I think you'll keep seeing a lot of that going on. But
do you think there's a better opportunity for new membership that might not even be from the Milwaukee area to join our club?
We certainly could publicize it more and work at getting the word out. That we could pull in a wider variety of people than just Menomonee Falls and outlying areas.
Yeah, some great advertisement would be great.
I mean, there's, websites we can get on, and, we could push it on Facebook and some of that kind of stuff to, get people. Right now, all the videos are on YouTube, but it's on my channel, and we certainly could create a Menomonee Falls Camera Club channel that everybody could watch it, the videos that we do, and try to expand it that way more.
A question.
What we're doing. Sure.
Is there any data yet on, in terms of the club's membership, how the COVID thing and taking a year on Zoom has affected the club's viability? And are you what do you see as a future viability of the club if we stay Zoom or what? Personally, I'd be a member of the club no matter which decision you make, but I wondered if there's any data there.
Pat Lynch would have a number of people that have submitted dues.
Yeah,
I do. I just don't remember what the number is right offhand. It was 30 some, I want to say.
Yeah. We're at 30. We used to have 50 members. So we lost 10 or 15 probably. Tonight we have 26. I can go back and look to see how many people showed up at each meeting, but it's been normally in the 30s. So it is about 10 short of what we had in person. We've been declining in person the last couple of years. And part of that probably is because we don't promote the club that much other than the website and the rec department.
And then
some of it is, I think, that we did have some quite old members.
Yeah.
Who have, who never transitioned to digital and software, and yes, we could reach out to our members who are missing. I mean, I'd be happy to do a personal reach out to some of them and just feel them out. You know, this being Zoom kind of took everybody by surprise. But some people may have come around to realizing that they have to step up to it now and be interested in coming back.
I think once you've attended one or two meetings, you get fairly comfortable with the Zoom program. But it's taken that couple of first steps, I think, that scares some people off.
Yeah. But even if you never shared a screen, you
Yeah.
know, I think it works out much better. And it's a little bit, it's far more social than I actually thought it would be. I mean, and
Well,
you get everybody, you're talking to everybody. You're not sitting at one little table with just your little group of four. I mean, we're getting to hear everybody now. Maybe you don't want to hear me so much, but.
And the other thing is your names are attached to your picture. So
Yeah.
it's much easier to
Yep.
know who you're talking to.
And we could even do, you know, a social half hour before the meeting, from 6:30 to 7, that we could either, you know, just chat amongst ourselves here, or if I switched it to a meeting instead of a webinar, they have breakout rooms that people could go into a room, sort of like having your separate tables, and small groups of you could sit and chat back and forth. There's a couple of things that we could try to work out. I know that if we keep doing this, the webinar, I like the webinar format because it sends out the emails automatically, where the meeting format doesn't. Hopefully they're going to change that. But and I'm going to change the format of the webinar a little bit, in that I have to bring everybody into the webinar each time. But I can actually, once people pay dues, I can set that up to be automatic. I always figured this first year we were going to get back to in person in the beginning, and then of course it just kept going on and on. But
Hey, cutie, Jane, who are you calling old?
Oh, I'm silent on that. You're still with us, so you're not in that group.
Oh. I lived out in the Falls for 25 years, knew about the club from its origins originally. It took me about 25 years to go to my first meeting or two at North Middle School. The membership was down to 8. And the way we were getting membership up was the annual print show that was displayed at the library. And I know there are some difficulties at the library. They want us to have a whole bunch of insurance, but having that show and then having a little story in the community newspaper got our membership up. I think at one point over my tenure, we had about 80 people. I don't know if they were all dues members, but it was a very large group.
Yeah, and the good thing about that is it was a large group. The bad thing about that was it was a large group. You couldn't hear, you couldn't see. You know, it was at times very, very difficult if you were in the back of the room to really know what was going on. I mean, it was pretty challenging for some of us.
I found out about the club through the little flyer that was at the library that was in the rack of things around the Falls.
That's how I found out too.
I found out through Tony.
yeah, and we stopped doing the flyer. Actually, Bill did that flyer, and he's the one that printed it and got it to the library in different places. He always carried a pack of it in his car, along with business cards that he'd hand out to any photographer he saw.
Maybe at the August meeting, you can discuss another flyer
Yeah.
that maybe our newsletter person can make up.
Notice he came up with that after the election.
Yeah, because I hate to say it's been on my list to update that brochure for about 10 years, and it's never fallen to a time that I had enough time to relay it out. But between Ellen and myself, we should work on that, or unless somebody else would love to take something like that on.
As
I
a
know.
modest suggestion, maybe the newsletter itself could be printed as it is, and that could be a flyer.
Yeah, that gets a little harder. It prints up okay, but being that we're trying to expand it, it starts to get awfully big as a flyer.
Yeah, it's,
Probably noisy for somebody to pick up for the first time. It's a lot of information
Yeah,
all at
yeah.
once.
It would be a little disjointed. What you need to do is put in some of the things that are on the website, you know, just specific information as to what the club is about and so on. And then supply links to various parts of the website too. We also, and I noticed this when I'm looking for pictures for the newsletter, need to get, I mean, you've done three field trips, but if it weren't for Patty Grindley and what's the other one that was in the newsletter a lot this time, I think.
Well, and
Ian.
it's the same for the website. I get stuff from Roger Krill,
And Ian,
and John Wiley and Patty, and that's about it.
so maybe the rest of us have to step it up a little bit.
We need to get some from the rest of you. I was going to say like the zoo stuff. I haven't seen anything from the zoo trip. I don't always get stuff up on the website real quick because unfortunately we get busy and then it sits for a little longer, but
even the President's Challenge, there are some really fascinating photographs in some of those things too, which we could, you know, put a section together or link it somewhere.
Speaking of that, and I guess we'll talk about this at the August planning meeting, but I definitely would like to continue that President's Challenge. I've already got my list put together, and I was thinking, Ellen, we could put all 11 topics beginning at one time and then work our way down the list. So as you're going through the year, you could probably find something in August that you could use in September or November or whatever. But we'll talk about that at the planning meeting.
That sounds good, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, if we do field trips, if we got pictures out, we could actually start sending a couple of pictures to the newspaper as a press release to say Menomonee Falls Camera Club just went to such and such a place and put a small group of pictures together. A lot of times the small newspapers are willing to publish, stuff like that. And
to fill space,
the more we get our name back out there again, the better. If we could do a place to exhibit pictures from the group, that would be another thing too. But putting exhibits together is hard, as WACO currently is finding out. So, but we need to work as a group to try to figure out how to promote the club a little bit more.
Maybe we could have at a festival, like how they got Strawberry Fest in Cedarburg. If maybe some of the members could have like a little display booth advertising, that might be maybe one idea.
Sure. Yeah.
I was thinking instead of trying to put together a flyer, something as simple as just putting together a business card with a link to the newsletter or something that people can put in their pocket, and whenever they get to their computer, they can take a look.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
And we did have that. I actually have a box of cards sitting at work that Bill had made up that says Menomonee Falls Camera Club. And I think it just had his phone number on it for information, because at the time that he made them, we really didn't have a very active website. But, or it said, you know, contact the rec department. And that would be the other thing that we would have to end up thinking about if we stay virtual. Do we want to, are we going to be able to stay with the rec department? And because their advertisement has helped. I know we got, I don't think she didn't come tonight. I had one person that I sent her the link for the meeting. Maybe she'll come again in fall. But we're still, every now and then we get somebody that contacts the rec department and they send out my information to them, and then they contact me and I promote it.
Is there a community newsletter that goes out from that rec department that talks about?
I think we're listed in their program brochure that goes out like in spring and fall.
Do you think they'd put us in there if we weren't, if we were virtual versus being?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. The hard part is that we don't have many people that belong to Menomonee Falls. It's
Good point.
It's been a minority of the group for a long time, and the rec department, because we've been associated with them for over 40 years, you know, we're still sort of under their umbrella, but yeah, it's changing a lot, and we're fortunate we don't have to pay for insurance. They're still covering our insurance part. I mean, they charge us the lower room rent because of us being there for so long. I can talk to Jason and find out what he has to say on that if we stay virtual. Being that we're going to continue to call it Menomonee Falls Camera Club, I can't see a downside for the rec department to keep us in the group.
Yeah.
But majority of people are now not from Menomonee Falls, I think. Yeah.
Well, maybe, you know, politically, Washington, Waukesha, and Ozaki are called the WOW counties. Maybe we ought to be the WOW Camera Club.
I really don't want to change our name, only because we're registered with the state as Menomonee Falls Camera Club. But
plus the website and
the website and everything else would be a pain.
Something that I was trying to think of for an idea as to how to get some personal time together was that we do the tabletop thing, and I was thinking, what if maybe every other month or whatever we have a tabletop night where maybe only 2 setups are put up, where people can come in and use the tabletops and bring things, but mainly just be a socialization get together. And if people don't even take pictures, that's fine too, because they're just getting together to talk.
So not a real full-blown program. Just
not an actual meeting.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea, I think.
It could be also an equipment night where people bring in things and, you know, that other people might be interested in looking at or understanding more about, or something of that nature.
Yeah, I like that with the hands-on, you know, practicing equipment and that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, and we might be able to bring the model shoot back. You know, if we did that spring, summer, or fall, you know, we could while I still have most of my property, we could do it here. And that would work either on a weekend or, you know, a weeknight gets a little hard. Although if we did it in summertime, you would have later at night, although depending on the weather, you get the mosquitoes too.
Mhm.
For
There's
the
a lot of those kind of options though that we can do.
for the rec room, you know, at the community center, can we play? Do we pay, let's say, once a month, or how, or do we got to pay for a whole year, or how will that work?
We pay per meeting and it's a hourly fee. I forget, Pat probably can look it up. It was under $30.
Yeah, it was $33.
Yeah. And I think it's going up to 37. We gotten some unnoticed from the rec department, but we're not an affiliate, so that we fall outside of some of the requirements that they have in the price increase. But it looked like we were going up to $37. Although I think that was a per hour rate. I'm at home, so I don't have my paperwork from the rec department. But
I was thinking just some, you know, photo shoot get-togethers a couple of times a year. At least it keeps our foot in the door on having a room available.
yeah,
And I do
Well-
kind of like the idea about having it virtual during the winter months where it is kind of crappy for the weather, for the people, so they don't have to drive in the bad weather.
yeah.
By the way, I'm looking at the spring rec department publication. We're listed on page 57 as an affiliate.
Okay, as an affiliate.
Yeah. So it's got a phone number, 262-893-3500, Jeff.
Yep.
That's you, right?
Guess whose phone number that is?
Yeah. And it's got the website there, so
Yeah.
but it's in with 12 other affiliates.
What was our room number there, John?
106. It wasn't on the sheet that you showed.
No, it's not there. Yeah.
Because that's a senior room. So I've got something at work that I got from him, and I could ask Jason. I should give him a call. I'll definitely give him a call before our next meeting and find out a little bit more on some of that stuff. That if we can at least stay as an affiliate but not use their rooms, and stay publicized in their brochure, that certainly will help. But we probably need to think about ways to publicize the group. You know, besides the WACO website and, you know,
I
what
like
we're
what you
doing
said
now.
about like Facebook and stuff like that, you know, any, social media platform
Yeah.
would be a great
And-
idea.
And we actually do have a Facebook page, but nobody really does anything with it.
There's
Can
Up
any
here-
member? I'm sorry.
well, up here, I'm on the Nextdoor app. Does anyone know what Nextdoor app is?
Sure.
Okay, and someone up here has asked if people are interested in forming a photo club. And so I replied to that, but there are a lot of other questions, like, where are the best farm markets? Where are this at? Maybe various individuals in the group could get on the Nextdoor app, join a Nextdoor app for their area, and then start talking about the photo club.
Yeah, I belong to the Nextdoor app, but I haven't seen anything from my area that has asked about camera clubs, so. And I'm trying to see if I can find our Facebook link, but.
By the way, while you're looking, I'm looking again at the rec department publication, and there are affiliates that do not meet at the rec department.
Oh,
For
okay.
example, baseball and falls patio players, so.
Yeah,
Could I
'cause-
get a quick show of hands of all people in the group here that utilize Facebook? Just curious. So we have a
Start posting
Facebook.
there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know, I'm in another club, and when this pandemic started, I mean, we were really tuned into it just to try to keep that other club going. And I mean, there were about 8 or 9 of us that were on there every single day posting something. And if we could all just get more involved in that particular Facebook program that we have, that might be something to get a little more activity going.
I think it's a good point because if I were somebody who didn't know about this club and I did hear about it, I'd probably
Yeah.
check our Facebook site and see that we haven't posted anything since January 2020, and I'd assume the club was dead. I'd see that. I'd be like, oh, they don't meet anymore.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea. Yes, great point.
Joe, I'll
Yeah.
start posting if you start posting.
I'll start posting.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we still have a site.
Yeah, it's still out there.
It's
I'm
still
staring
there.
at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on it right now. Here, I'll throw it in the chat.
Yeah, do that, because I'm on because it's on my Facebook. I belong to Facebook, I just don't use it.
You know, when you get right down to it on Facebook, you know, if you don't want to be bothered with all the other crap that's going on, there's so many links to different camera clubs and programs and all of this and all of that, different groups about whether it's Canon or Nikon or Night, Macro, any of those are available sites right on Facebook. And, you know, if we could really get involved with all those subgroups, I mean, we could have a totally different type of club than we're currently dealing with today with the you know, getting together face to face.
So,
Okay.
But don't worry, it'll all change by the time you figure it out.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Jane, for your work as president, and welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
This has been
This
nice.
is
We'll see you in September.
Transition. Yeah, this is going to be a fun year. I can see it now.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking before Mark Van Cleve can get a whole Florida group association down there going too from the Menomonee Falls Camera Club, if Mark is still on. Okay.
I'm still here, still paying attention, and I have not found any sort of a camera club down here. So I've actually thought about starting to start something in our community, and if I can get that going, and if we're meeting virtually, maybe we'll have 3 or 4 of us down here that will join the group. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
If that fails, you can always have your own Facebook group.
Get him some bumper stickers that he can promote down in Florida. Welcome
Yep.
to Menomonee Falls Camera Club
There we go.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
live from Wisconsin.
All right.
All right.
Everybody get their cars ready for long range outings.
There we go.
We're coming, Mark.
Thanks, everyone. We'll
All right.
see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Night,
We'll
night.
see
One
ya.
way or the
Good
other, we'll
night.
see you in September.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, be sure to post.